Okay, recording this video after close trade Wednesday, 16th of May 2012. Well, we continue to press to the downside, but I think we're going to have a bounce tomorrow. Try and walk you through the charts. So we closed at 22.75, 1.8 million contracts traded, and we just kind of kept on shifting down and down and down today. Apple's now off 16% off the highs. Kind of interesting. Here's kind of the reason why I think we're going to have a little bit of a bounce tomorrow. So on the 45, 135 daily chart, this kind of combination, this is again times 3 between each of these time frames, and so it's like looking at my 500, 1500, 4500 tip bar chart. Today's activity gave us exhaustion selling on the downside on this kind of middle time frame. That's very like kind of pro-signal exit during the day. No blue professional bar on this necessarily, but it just shows an extreme of selling in this middle kind of time frame. So it's an area, it's a left shoulder we kind of tend to bounce from, and all we do is we bounce into a pullback and then end of trend sequence on this middle time frame. We've gone so far now on this middle time frame. We're now in a trend move on this 135-minute time frame. So we've moved through the support levels on the daily chart. We're now moving into bigger picture stuff. So this will be pullback to end of trend on the 135-minute chart, which should line up with something like or close to a cyclical support on a weekly chart. So I think we're going to be moving into that sequence. Just thinking, we've got all this kind of Facebook stuff Friday. So anyway, and we've come quite a ways. So longer term tick bar charts, 40,000. Let me show you that first. 40,000 tick bar chart. So yesterday we had exhaustion selling. It wasn't that kind of extreme selling, but we've tested those levels. We're coming up to a cyclical support kind of here tomorrow. As I'm looking at this, we didn't have blue professional bars kind of coming into the end of today. We did have them kind of holding those lows. So we'll see, and that's kind of lining up with potentially a divergence, bullish divergence pattern kind of down here, almost like a double bottom kind of down there. And on 13,500 you could start to see this kind of exhaustion selling here, the first bullish divergence. We're now making kind of flush patterns down here, just overshot this support level, maybe being caught by that support level on the next highest time frame. So that's what I'm thinking might happen tomorrow, a little bit more of a bounce. I thought we'd have a bounce today, a bit of a bounce because of the chart yesterday. That's beautiful. So this was a sell-off yesterday that we had on the 4,500 tip bar chart. And overnight we had a beautiful pullback to end of trend pattern, bang, flush patterns kind of down here, caught the low, and that was the bounce. But I was saying, I didn't like any, all bounces should be shorted. Pullback to end of trend sequence here, topped out just under this 1340 level, which is just incredibly important. All the blue professional bars kind of come in again, just like yesterday with these kind of tests back up. We didn't have exhaustion patterns, and these were really weak buying patterns coming into these highs. That was a little bit, kind of shakeout with the buying there was a little bit more extreme, but it was extremely weak here. Same thing into this pullback to end of trend. Extremely weak buying, bearish divergence signals kind of go off. Blue professional bars kind of come in, bang. As soon as we break those, we're into this big downtrend. It's been a bit messy kind of on the way down. It hasn't been a perfect kind of pullback to end of trend. For me, it kind of feels more like a complex correction, and we've made these kind of bullish divergence patterns down here. Blue professional bars kind of coming in at that almost double bottom here in the 20s. So that's what I think is going to happen tomorrow. And today, well, I've got to tell you, I had a really nice day's trading today. 5 trades, 8.5 points, and there were some nice setups. And I'm just been looking at my charts. I'm such an emotional trader. I have to get far more systematic about my entries. And one of the things I do, I jump in way too early because I'm afraid I won't catch a trend move, and then I get out way too early. So I don't make the most of the trades I get into. But these are the patterns I should be looking for more of. So on 1500 tip bar chart, this is overnight. You had the close and the open of today. Now remember, on the 4,500 tip bar chart, we'd had pullback to end of trend kind of go off here. So this marked the low here, and we started to make a trend move advance. This was the signal to get in. So we come up to a cyclical support, bullish divergence kind of come in, blue professional bar buying those lows after we've had blue professional bar come into those, tested again, and the amateurs are trying to get short here. It wasn't a Rambo pattern, but amateurs right at the low, kind of expecting breaks to new low. No, they get wrong footed. We break to the upside, and this is the test back in to that kind of area, blue professional bar. I went along the break of that blue professional bar, 27.25. Got out too early. I got out after this Rambo pattern. I adjust my was up 4 points and I pushed out my target to 5. But then when that Rambo pattern kind of came in, I pulled it back to 4 and just got out here at 31.25. But it was good for a little bit more, and should have been getting out of the pro signal exit, for a few points more. So that's that kind of good little entry. And then trend was up. We'd had some exhaustion buying pre-open, but we hadn't had it after the open. So this bullish divergence with Rambo patterns, that was a beautiful entry. Professionals come in, we have the bullish divergence, the Rambo patterns kind of come in, and then we take off. And this kind of blue professional bar is jumping the creek, kind of getting this move going to the upside. I was looking for a short, so I just ignored that and should have just got jumped on it. But as soon as it started to weaken, and this is where I was need to be waiting for these patterns. So on that little amateur retrace, I got short there, and that was the wrong place to get short a little bit earlier. I'll explain why. Had to get out of this with a loss of 1.5. But as soon as we'd seen the blue professional bars kind of come in at the highs again, this is the bar to get short at here. So we've got a retrace. It's under previous highs. Blue professional bars again. The lows of those blue professional bars kind of get taken. And this goes into a trend move on the way down. So I was in too early on this one, had to take 1.5 point loss. I got in too early here on the break of those blue professional bars up here and had to sit through that little bit of retrace. Should have been waiting for that retrace blue professional bar, and as soon as it kind of comes in, breaks those lows, and then the professionals are coming in and selling short at that point, that's when we kind of come down. Had a nice little spike test, very weak buying, you can see, bang, kind of sells off and then goes to pull back to end of trend. But it was important on this time frame. I'm always looking for the exhaustion selling signals in order to signal a potential change in trend. So we'd had it for a change in trend here early in the day, and then they came in later in the day after 11 a.m. That's kind of the window for a reversal type day. So when you see a pattern like that, yes, you've had your exhaustion selling, the bullish divergence kind of come in, but it's 1 o'clock by that time, and so all we do is we just spend the rest of the day just kind of chopping around at those lows. You'll never get, well, not never, but it's rare that you'll get a strong kind of reversal after that. So although we had pullback to end of trend, we'd not seen that exhaustion selling on the downside. So we had to wait until that kind of came in first. Bullish divergence kind of comes in here. So, and all these blue professional bars kind of coming in at lows. So in the 20s, I think we've done enough damage now to get a little bit of a more serious kind of spike back up tomorrow. The other trades I took after that, so on this trade, because I had that 1.5 point loss, pushed out my target to 5.5 points, got out at 32.25, which was again a little bit too early, but it wasn't bad. Pullback to end of trend kind of would have got me a little bit more, but I'm never going to sit through these. I hate these. And then tried to get short at 32, got out par at 32, and then short at 31.25. And then we had this Rambo pattern come in. So I was trying to think, because this hadn't come in, we hadn't had exhaustion selling, we're still going to get this weakness. So I was looking at any kind of opportunities to get short, and so this cyclical resistance kind of comes and goes short at 31.25. But then Rambo pattern here, and it was like a triple Rambo. We had Rambo on the 1500, it was on the 500, and it was right here on the 4500. When you get that on all three time frames, and that level was 30, was incredible that we were breaking. And I was looking at it saying, if this breaks at 30, it's going to just, full crash. We'd had all the, euro kind of going down. We had all kinds of rumors kind of coming out about Greek banks and ECBs and whatever. And so that break at 30 felt like the real, this thing's going to just melt down. And of course, it's being led by the amateurs on all three time frames. And so as soon as we got above the highs of that Rambo pattern cut up here, I just got out for a half point at 30.75. It kind of came good with the flush pattern here. Blue professional bars kind of come in, and as soon as the lows of those blue professional bars kind of get taken out, we kind of continue down to that exhaustion pattern. We test with another Rambo pattern and down again kind of thing. So anyway, the point of this is I need to be slower to take my trades and look for these testing patterns with blue professional bars here and here that kind of lead to good trending moves, and they're kind of low risk entry points, and it shows where the professionals are getting in their last opportunity to kind of get into this position rather than kind of getting positioned prior to the change in trend. It's that last kind of opportunity for them to kind of jump on board, so that's what I need to be more disciplined about searching for. Anyway, hope you traded well today. 650. Short 36.50. Just checking my stops and targets, and been waiting patiently. 1500 tip bar chart, we kind of bottomed out with exhaustion selling, bullish divergence came in, 2 rainbow patterns, bang. We headed up to 38s and huge exhaustion, big signals. Bearish divergence kind of came in resistance here, and just waiting for a little bit of a test back up. Didn't want to jump in there, it was pulled back to end of trend here. So just on that amateur up bar here, just breaking the lows of that. So hopefully we'll get a continuation on the downside, see where this goes. We come into a couple of rainbow patterns, bullish divergence kind of come in, just kind of tested back up, but broken through that support level. It's an amateur bar up to support, so potentially support becomes resistance. We kind of turn away and kind of go back. We've also got this support level coming on 1500 tip bar chart, so I don't know, might have to sit through a little bit of a retrace, so just sit on it. 38 even, and it's a little bit too explosive there, so just going to take a 1.5 point loss. Just wait and see if there's another, well, be another re-entry point, but I'm just worried that I'm going to take kind of more heat. Seems like it wants to test back up to 39s, so let's just step out for a minute. 37.75, short 37.75, just checking my stops and targets. So let's try this again. Just had 1500 tip bar chart flush pattern kind of go off here, so we had this kind of rush. It was pullback, dirty end of trend, second cyclical turn after that. We had exhaustion, first bearish divergence come up here, flush, whole bunch of blue professional bars right up here, blue professional bar. It's almost like a double top under the end signal here, so just had a little bit of bounce off this rainbow pattern. So just hoping for continuation of resistance kind of on the way down. Good. Okay, had to wait through this little bit of a retrace up to 39s. Probably should have been waiting for this cyclical resistance coming on the 500 tip bar chart, but good news is blue professional bar on the way up, and here we're breaking the lows of that, so it's testing up with blue professional bars now. Hopefully we'll kind of break through support down to 37, get this show on the road. So still short 37.75. okay, here we've got the break down to 36s. Just moving my target out to 32.25, and just because I've got that 1.5 point loss to make up, so I was in too early, so which will be down here, kind of towards that kind of pullback support area. So it's a little bit early to be talking about that, but anyway, I'm starting to break down here. It's kind of good. Let's go. A little while later, back up to 38s, kind of bounced off this level. Pity we didn't just sink through the supports here on 1500 and 500. But it's another flush pattern here. Fairly weak buying at this point, so it's just testing and testing. Just hoping it'll kind of turn around. So this is a line in the sand, 36. Okay, here we go, coming down through 36s. Had our flush patterns. Here's the support, 36. As soon as this goes, we will get some fun. Yeah, a little rainbow pattern, might see a little bounce. Cyclical support kind of due. We're breaking into a trend move now on 1500. Okay, rush down to 34s. Exhaustion selling was big reading. I think it was about 10,000, minus 10,000 on. Yep, that was a big reading. Blue professional bar kind of coming after a rainbow pattern. So don't know. It's interesting. It's not been an exhaustion selling signal here. We need to break back down through this support into a trend move here. So let's see. Might have a little bit of a bounce, but
Here we go, just broke down through support, hit 33.75, which was the initial target. A little bit of a bounce from there. It's not exhaustion selling yet on 15, but that was a pretty big reading. So hopefully it'll continue down. Just taken out 32.25. And we were just sitting in this range, 34.35. This resistance came in, and then wow, just sold off. There's two Rambo patterns kind of coming into here, into a support area around here. So actually happy to be out. Excellent, excellent. So that's for 5.5. I had a loss of 1.5 because I got in too early. I had to scratch that trade. So that's 4 during the day, and I had 4 before the open. So it's been a good day. And we're going down. We're going down. Interesting. Watch it for a little bit longer. It's just gone 1 AM here in Sydney.